Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We will continue the poem The End and the Beginning by Wisła Szymborska. As we said, she's just a Polish author or a poet. You know that the poem revolves and talks about the effect of the war when the Second World War has ended, the effect and the collapse and the destruction that the war had caused for the generation, for the people who lived there. And we said, like, we have figurative meaning and figurative language, the tone that the author used in these lines. What is the tone? Tone, and the author can use descriptive words. These convey the meaning, convey or show the mood of the, or the tone, the attitude of the author. Now let's listen.
Someone has to drag in a girder to prop up a wall. Someone has to glaze a window, rehang a door. Photogenic it's not, and takes years. All the cameras have left for another war. We'll need the bridges back and new railway stations. Sleeves will go ragged from rolling them up. Someone, broom in hand, still recalls the way it was. Someone else listens and nods with unsevered head.
Okay, this is stanza 4, and this is stanza 5, and this is stanza 6, and this is 7. Okay, let's continue.
But already there are those nearby starting to mill about who will find it dull. From out of the bushes, sometimes someone still unearths rusted out arguments and carries them to the garbage pile. Those who knew what was going on here must make way for those who know little and less than little, and finally as little as nothing. In the grass that is overgrown causes and effects, someone must be stretched out, blade of grass in his mouth, gazing at the clouds.
All right. Okay, so let's analyze the 4th stanza. Someone has to drag and girder to prop up a wall. Someone has to glaze a window, rehang a door. Photogenic is not and takes years, and all cameras have led for another war. So, 2 stanzas here. Prop up the wall, glaze a window, rehang a door, all of these examples, etc. These, the idea here that these things, the idea of rebuilding, okay, takes time and effort, because these are involved with rebuilding houses. House being sheltered, therefore, symbolizes the idea of life, that life has to go on, but it needs to work out. We may say that healing both physical and emotional pain needs time, no matter what. Things redone are not the same as good as new. This is the attitude of the author. Photogenic. Here, photogenic, we just explain it. It looks good when picturing, okay? Photogenic is not which creates an impression of how wars brought chaos and disorder. The process of rebuilding here is not something we can just simply take a picture of. The personification, all cameras have left of another war, this is personification. Personification is a figurative language. You give just a human equality for the objects. And here we have the cameras, okay? So this personification, we give an equality for the cameras. All cameras have left for another war, suggests, just like media has gone to focus on other news or war, People who are not affected directly by the impacts, by the effects of the war, have just moved on. That is the idea. We will need the bridges back, and near new railway stations, slaves will go ragged from rolling them up. Let's see here. You can have a look. You can read it. Okay, someone, broom in hand, still recalls the way it was. Someone else listens and notes the unserved head. You have the meaning here, 1 and 2 at the bottom. But already there are those nearby starting to mull about who will find it dull. So, we will need the bridges back, the same like what war caused and what we need to do toward this catastrophe. In a railway station, like a normal life, slaves will go ragged from rolling them up. It's like a piece of a cloth that just you turn it and up and side down. It's just very old. It's just imagery. Someone, broom in hand, still recalls the way it was. Someone else listens. So here, the stanza denotes or shows how people are starting to lose interest in the importance of war as time passes, by connection fading away. But already there are those nearby starting to mill about who will find it dull. Some people still arguing about it. We will move from out of the bushes, so it seems like suddenly out there is still a hub about the people. Sometimes someone is still unearthed, we said, something hidden or lost. Wasted out arguments and carries them to the garbage pile, the destruction of the war. So, here the poet's use of a negative diction, rubble, corpse, wagons, splintered glasses, in the previous stanzas, blood rags, garbage piles, throughout the poem, all of these to show or portrays the ugliness side of the war or aftermath. Aftermath is just what war causes. Moreover, these help to establish melancholic and dark tone of the poem. Melancholic, a sad one. Those who knew what was going on here must make way from those who know little. Some people experience the war here, and some, just the next generation, know little, and less than little, the next generation, and finally as little as nothing. They know nothing about the war. So, here the idea that emphasizes on importance that it's for every people who experience the disaster and the catastrophe, remember it. Those who knew what was going on here must make way for those who know little. Message to the next generation must be passed on words at best shall be avoided. And here the last stanza, it is just somehow surprising. In the grass that has overgrown, a hope overgrown causes and effects, someone must stretched out, played of the great grass in his mouth, gazing at the clouds, just like a hope growing here. It's amazing and surprising ending. Final lines here, the poem. Someone's be stretched out, played grass in the mouth, gazing at the clouds. This makes us of imagery as well as a metaphor, played of grass in his mouth, along with the clouds. That symbolizes the freedom and dream. This suggests that a hub of people for a new beginning of peace, and so on. then the life has to go on no matter what. Moreover, the poet here tell repetition of someone, again, someone, from the beginning to the end shows that anyone can be involved in building a better life, a better world. So this is really a surprising ending. Use the indefinite pronoun throughout the poem. Someone has to. Now we will have to move to the guiding questions. We have two guiding questions. I will just show it to you so you can pause and write the questions and try to answer the questions. Okay? So here's the two questions we have. Lines 14-21 explain the image that the poet creates in these lines about rebuilding, about the houses, rehang doors, and so on. We already answered it, by the way. What does the poet not think that image in line 18-21 are photogenic? There is an image, and the author here, or the poet, thinks that it's not good to be pictured or to be just noticed photogenic. Define the poet's attitude. We said the attitude, his feeling, his mood, he uses. We said earlier that the poet can use descriptive words, and these descriptive words can convey and portray his feeling toward her subject based on her own word of choice and images. I think we already discussed it. Question 4, lines 26-42, explain what people might be figuratively throwing on the garbage piles. Argumentative, we talked about it. Along with the rubble of war, what does the poet suggest will happen to this traumatized by war, who just affected, who just get hurted, okay, who died, okay, negative. And what tone does the poet use, and how does it inform the theme? The theme, we noticed the author's message. So think about it. We will just solve it now, but think about it, please. And then you can pause the video, write your answer, and then you can compare your answer. Okay, so explain the image that poet creates in these lines. You have to go back to 14-21, as we said. She creates images, okay, of people, what? Rebuilding. Okay, this is the first part. And the attitude now. What is the attitude? Or before we go to attitude, what does the poet not think the images in line are not photogenic, not good to be pictured? What is it? Why? They are ugly. They are ugly and they lack drama, or they drop. Okay, not good to be pictured because the cameras just want to another thing. It's just like a passive here because it just ended. So the cameras went to another war. And the third part of the question about the attitude, attitude or attitude. Okay, what is the attitude? We have the possible answer that is, we can say, very sad and ironic. Okay. This is possible answer, by the way. We can just expand the answer, so you can compare your answer. So we'll go to question 4. Might be figurative from the garbage pile. What might be just throwing, just get rid of that to the rubble of the war. You can go back to line 26, 24. What is can be just the argument. Yeah. The arguments and attitude. Okay. Attitudes that led to war. That led to war. Okay, that was the first part. Then, what suggest will happen to this traumatized by war? What will happen to them? Okay. What will happen? What does the poet suggest will happen to this traumatized by war? People who what? Who suffered. Okay. People who suffered will give way or will yield, give away for those what? Who did not. Not witnesses the war, in other words. So people who suffered will wait or give away for this who did not. And the last part of the question, the last part, okay, just I supposed to write the answer. So the tone here, how is it related to the theme? We can say a weary, jaded tone. Jaded means just lacking of enthusiasm, and this is suggest healing treatment working out only comes to those who haven't witnessed the violence or the war. That is the possible answer, so you can compare your answer. Thank you. Hopefully you're gonna just understand it, and all materials will be sent to you guys. Thank you very much.